and maybe we should wait on this because they're going to come to pit road for pit road speed.
Yeah, let's wait on that. That communication from the spotter, the crew chief, the driver is imperative so that he can maximize his pit road speeds. We do not want to get in the middle of that and then get blamed if he does not win the Brickyard 400. So we're gonna stay out of their way a little bit.
And even pit road speed, one of the many storylines we're going to follow. It's 10 miles an hour slower than years past at the Oval. It seems insignificant until you're the driver that goes a little too fast. It can completely change the course of your day.
Yeah, it's still an art, Rick. Like you know, there's no button that you press and the car goes down pit road at a certain speed. You have to manually do that by looking at your tachometer.
Turns 1 and turns 3 here, so that is a big slowdown to get down to pit road speed.
Yeah, long pit road but narrow, and it really becomes evident when you put these cars on here. It doesn't really jump out at you with the Indy cars taking the oval just because of the size of the vehicle, but when you put these stock cars on this pit road, you see right there, it's really like a 2-lane road. It's not a highway like at some locations. This is a 2-lane back road, and every year we seem to have a stack up on pit road or an accident.
And as they're working on pit road speed, those of you enjoying this pre-race before the green flag on USA, we are now on NBC. You can continue to watch on NBC for the remainder of the Brickyard 400. And so now, as they have made their way along pit road, let's see if we can talk to the driver who still is looking for his very first Brickyard 400. This is the one crown jewel that he's missing.
Hey, Indians, Burton up in the booth. You with us?
I got you.
All right, bud. Hall of Fame career, trying to get that first Brickyard 400 win. What would it mean to you?
Well, I've kind of been saying all week that win here just extends your introduction after you're done racing. With their introduction, they tell you about all your accolades, and certainly when the Brickyard would add to that. So we'd like to get that done today.
Well, we'll be riding with you. Thank you, buddy. Have a good day.
And we'll be embedded with the 11 team in the second stage. But right now, let's hear from the crew chief of the 11, Martin.
Yeah, let's chat with the crew chief side of the 11-team combo, Chris Gabehart. You know, Chris, at Pocono last week, it was a wide-open playbook in terms of strategy for you crew chiefs. Is it that open today here at Indianapolis?
Well, it's less because pit road speed takes longer to roll, and the lap time is just about 3 seconds slower. While that doesn't sound a lot, that does change the game quite a bit in terms of numbers. But one thing that doesn't change the game is this is a Brickyard. This is one of those races that is bigger than stage wins. It's bigger than points. And most everybody here will be thinking that way. Track position is going to be a lot harder to come by than even Pocono. So I imagine strategy will be ramped up accordingly.
If there's one thing that is in your control that could be a key to winning the race today, what would that be?
Just no mistakes. Yes, there's going to be a lot of strategy calls, but for us on the 11 car, especially when we've got a car as fast as we have today, to give ourselves a shot to win most weeks, we just have to not make any mistakes. And while that sounds simple and trivial, this is at a sports top level. The greatest in the game play it every week, and that's hard to do. So the key for us will be to execute a clean race and give Denny a chance to win.
We'll also be embedded with Chase Briscoe in his race team today, and that's where we find Dave Burns.
So let's start with the driver himself, Marty. Indiana's own Chase Briscoe, a favorite son of this state, if you will. Born and raised 90 miles south in Mitchell, a small town maybe nearing 5,000 these days. He was raised on racing. In fact, his grandpa Richard was a sprint car owner. His dad Kevin won 150 times in a sprint car, and Friday night they returned to their roots at Bloomington Speedway. Chase raced his 410 wing sprint, and the next generation, 2.5-year-old Brooks, yeah, he helped out. Dad didn't win, but he saw Dad drive to a 6th place finish. Now a win today for this family would mean so much. Chase has some work to do starting 20th, but it's a possibility. Dreams can happen here, Kim.
Dave, it's been a tough start to the weekend for Martin Truex Jr., who's making what will likely be his last Brickyard 400 start. The team made an adjustment after going through tech that NASCAR did not approve of, so the team had their car chief ejected. They'll drop to the rear and do a pass-through penalty, and they also lost their pit stall selection, which is so key here at Indianapolis. So it's going to be an uphill battle. Crew Chief James Small said the first task for this team is to stay on the lead lap, and an early caution would be ideal for them.
Take a look at the playoff standings. 5 races remaining in the regular season. Everybody's name in yellow. They're locked in because of a win. And then you look at the points. Truex Jr. In his retirement year is, I would say, comfortably above that line. But Chastain and Wallace, 27 points separate the two on either side of that playoff line. Let's listen in to the driver, the number 12, one of the Penske drivers here at Indianapolis. Very important as they get their pep talk.
All right, everybody. Good luck today. It'll be a long day. Trying to battle whatever comes our way. Get mixed up a lot, so just trying to stay in the game. Keep playing. Good job last week. Try to keep it rolling.
Talking about the win in Pocono a week ago, Jonathan Hassler, the crew chief, a Purdue grad. So he's got ties to the state of Indiana.
We talk a lot about the return to the oval. We have to just remember this is the first time we've seen this style of NASCAR car, this next-gen car. A little different aerodynamics, wider tires. A lot of question mark in the garage. They've all practiced, so they know how the car's going to drive, but how do they race? How do they work around one another? And you even heard Gabe Hart mention it to Marty. You know, all we have to do is be mistake-free, and then he followed up with, but that's really easy to say, really hard to do. This track really kind of forces you into mistakes.
Yeah, the drivers, they don't know what to expect. They're going to drive into turn one. This is the first time they've been around this many cars on this racetrack. That takes all the downforce away from your car. It is not going to drive as well as it did in practice yesterday, but they don't know how bad it's going to be. Because this is, as Steve said, this is the first time. So we're going to be seeing them learn on the fly who can make the right adjustments from a driver standpoint and also from a team standpoint to get their car and their driver where they need to be at the right time in this race.
It's important to do anything
About to go
better
green.
than your competitors when you come to
Here we
Indianapolis.
go.